Welcome to the channel. My name is Dani Walker. If you want to see 10 of the most gorgeous green evening gowns that were worn over the past 5 years at Miss Universe, stick around. Green is not an easy color to wear at a pageant, but these queens nailed it. In 2021, some of you asked me about Miss Poland, and she did not go unnoticed, friends. I really liked her gown. Once again, though, tough competition at Miss Universe, so I appreciated this dress, and this gown, the shade of green that it was in, reminded me a lot of the, I would say, viral gown that Kendall Jenner wore to, I think, the Met Gala or some award show. The tone really reminded me of that. I'm wondering if that maybe was the inspiration behind it, but beautiful piece, and I thought it was very red carpet-like. It wasn't something that I would think to use for a competition. Nonetheless, it was beautiful, and to me, it's been one of my favorite green gowns, and I would totally wear a style like this. The next queen is from a country that I have been noticing in recent years, and I have been paying attention to. She was 2019's Cambodia representative. And this gown right here is quite unique, and the reason that it's really making this list, though, is because of the fit of the gown. I love the back of it, that illusion back. And if you notice something about this dress that I think that was done so right, is the way that it hugs her hips, it cinches in tighter towards the knee, but then it still flows out, and that is not easy to do if you're considering that there is a slit in this gown. So whoever was able to construct this gown and bring out this shape did a fantastic job. I've seen a lot of designers try to achieve the shape of the skirt of this gown, and it just doesn't happen. It's really difficult to create the curve while maintaining the slit. So that's one of the biggest reasons why it's on this list. The color was very unique. The one thing I would change is to make it a little bit less sheer, or possibly even add a nude lining underneath it, because I think that the booty shorts that are green underneath, that they really stood out and they drew all the attention to the short and took away from the overall picture of the gown. And I feel like, man, that one little adjustment would have made a huge difference for this style. If there's any country that brings us fashion, it's France, right? Their geographical location is a very unique resource that obviously connects them to haute couture designers. So that's why we get to see Miss France in some really, really unique gowns. So this dress was very different. The shade was almost like a sage green. The sleeves of this dress, very, very couture. The volume in the sleeves is what really kind of made it stand out on stage. I also very much liked the center slit and how it was lined down the side, and we saw that line continue all the way up the dress, and this was something to behold on stage. And the one thing I would have changed slightly was somehow maybe disconnecting the sleeve a little bit more from the underarm, because whenever she put her arms up, it pulled the sides of the dress out and it widened her. So really the only way to wear this style was to keep the arms down. But of course that's limiting, so that's a little bit tricky when we're thinking, okay, you're going to use this for a competition. You want to be able to move well in your gown. Now, with all of that set aside, I would just love to see this gown in person, because the details of the beading and the really delicate small floral appliques are, to me, what elevated this gown and makes it one of my personal favorites. In 2017, Miss Universe South Africa Demi Lee decided to wear this gorgeous green velvet evening gown. This was a very unique look. There was not a single stone on this gown, and that's what we normally see at the Miss Universe competition. So I really liked this as her preliminary choice. I'm glad that that's what this was used for, because we saw a beautiful gown change for finals that I thought was perfect for that Miss Universe title. But this green was fitted to her so well. It gave me old Hollywood style vibes. The red lip also really popped with this, but let's not forget the back of this gown. Of course, the front, great, well draped and fitted and ruched to her, but the back of the gown was not to be upstaged by the front. I really like the oversized bow that was there. Remember, if you want to see more episodes like this, to subscribe and hit the notifications. In 2018, Ireland looked so sweet in this key lime or pistachio shade of green. This was a very, very unique shade, and I can't remember the last time I saw a shade quite like this. There was a queen in 2012, 2013 that wore a mint green, but I thought that this shade leaned a little bit more towards a key lime or a pistachio. Okay, I'm getting hungry thinking about these things. But this gown was so well stoned. That's what I really liked about it. I liked the really, really delicate flat back stones that were placed along the neckline. They picked up under the lights very well. And the skirt of the gown, because of the feather bottom, it was flowy, it was quite dreamy. And overall, this dress was very, very glamorous. I think that when you put everything together, it was glamorous, but it also didn't overpower her. I think because of the thin halter strap neckline. The next queen I'm going to mention is someone that was a huge fan favorite, also one of my favorites, and many were surprised not to see her move on in the competition, but it just goes to show, don't hold out on that best evening gown for finals. You may never get to wear it, because she did change her evening gown for finals, and I did love her finals evening gown. And if you want to see that, that's in my other unseen gown episode from the year of 2020, which means our queen represented Indonesia that year. So this green gown reminded me of a green variation of Zuleika's silver gown, Miss Universe 2006, because the halter, it was very sexy, and then also there was a lot of draping of the beads and slight fringe embellishments. So I felt that Zuleika inspiration here, but it was still its own thing, and it was in this beautiful Kelly green shade. It was bright, something we don't always see, and I thought that that was really well contrasted with her dark hair. That to me is what made that color and that shade of green really make sense. But this dress was fun. I would love to try it on. I would love to wear this somewhere. Some of you may argue with me about this gown for being in my green list, but I really didn't know where else to put it because it is such a unique shade. So the reason it's in this episode is because I feel like it leans a little bit more towards green tones instead of blues, but to me it's in that kind of middle of a greenish aqua or a greenish even turquoise possibly, and I'm not even sure. Maybe it looked different in person. So we're just gonna put it on the green list anyways, and that is the final gown that Elle wore for Miss Universe this year. And it's another beautiful, bright shade on her, very, very unexpected. The one thing I would have adjusted about this gown, but there was no time to do, was to ensure that the sheer panel on the skirt, which I like, it's a different take on gowns because you'll get the sexiness of a slit by exposing the leg a little bit more, but you're not compromising on the shape of the gown. So it's a cool choice, I think. But I wish that sheer panel had truly been sheer and been matched to her skin tone, but since she went straight from USA to Universe, I understand that wasn't possible. But I also really like the neckline of this dress, and Michael Cinco just did an excellent job, and I can only imagine how great this piece also looked in person. And he's just one of my dream designers, guys. He's just one of my dream designers. I hope that one day I get to, even try on one of his gowns. Wow, right? If you want to wear Michael Cinco, comment below. Don't forget that if you're preparing for your next competition, that I have a free pageant prep course that's linked in the description below. In 2020, Puerto Rico wore a spectacular green gown. Many things about this gown I love. First of all, I am partial to accordion pleat chiffon and organzas. I think that it's unique, and I think it's rare to see in a gown, and it's lovely, and it's just this girly little flair, right? Just adds a texture to the gown. Now, the fabric of this, though, it's like this candy apple green with iridescent. It's just so tasty, okay? It's just tasty. And then we can just add on these really pretty rainbow stones for the straps of this dress. The style of this gown was pretty simple, and actually it reminded me a lot of the evening gown that Nadia Mejia wore when she won Miss California USA, and then went on and wore a similar style to the national competition. So it's this really simple, once again, accordion pleat style of skirt, and even the bodice has that pleating. Now, I do think that the fit of the bodice could have been adjusted a little bit to make sure that it was completely form-fitted to her, because whenever she would take a step, you could kind of see the fabric at her sides bunch out a little bit, and that's something that could be done with some really, really fine needlework to get that fabric to lay completely flat. In 2021, Miss USA was able to wear a gorgeous gorgeous. Michael Cinco creation, and this was a very unique dress. The color was also very unique. It was this light green shade. Now, some may say that this was a nude gown, but since we don't see very many green gowns, I really wanted to include it in this list because when I think of this gown, I don't think nude style of gown. I do envision and think green that she wore. And this green also complemented her eye color perfectly. That was another thing. But Michael Cinco is somebody who has so many beautiful creations, very, very couture, very high end. And this gown was no exception to that. This was from one of his recent runway collections. And since Miss USA went pretty much straight from Miss USA to Miss Universe, they didn't have time to design a custom style for Elle, but even though she didn't get that option, this was still a great choice for her, and it was just very different. It reminded me more of a gown that we would see on a Miss France, so it was nice to see something fresh on Miss USA, but I liked that it was still sexy. It had that slit, but then we had this really nice shoulder, cool shoulder element, drew the attention up. It was great. Here it is, my number one pick. I think it may surprise you, but it was 2019 Albania. I love, 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 love this gown. The color was beautiful on her. The way that the chiffon flowed, the draping across the bodice, the oversized rhinestone silver buckles that were just different, the side cutout, the open back. There was just so much right with this gown. And the moment I saw it, I just thought, how do I make this dress? Can I make a dress like this? Can I make something like this to wear somewhere? I don't know, maybe one day. I thought that it was just fantastic. It was just beyond that. It's just so unique. It's something that we don't see every single day. And I felt like if this dress had been used for the Met Gala, and if Kendall Jenner wore it, then this would have been a viral dress that every girl wants to wear to her prom or every girl wants to wear to a special event. It's one of the pieces that Fashion Nova is gonna say, oh, yeah, we can make that, right? Of course, the quality of the chiffon would not be the same as this gown, but they would try. I absolutely love this dress, and to me, it was one of my favorites. For all those reasons, it was my favorite green evening gown over the past 5 years at Miss Universe. But if you cannot get enough of gowns and you want to see even more gorgeous styles, then you don't want to miss this other episode right here. This one is dedicated completely to blue evening gowns. All right, and navy blue is my favorite color, so I was really excited about this episode, and I can't wait to share with you my number one blue gown that was wore over the past 5 years. So go check that one out.